Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we're going to fillet some bluegills. We had some nice ones and we're going to cut them up. We're going to have them for supper, and I'm going to show you a technique that I use in filleting bluegills. I've used it all my life. There's a lot of techniques out there. Some people have their own special way of doing it. I like to use a knife. I like to use a blade. I'm only filleting 8 or 10, 12 fish at a time, so I don't need the speed of an electric knife. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and show you what I do. First, of course, what you need is you need fish. And once you get the fish, then you're ready to fillet. The knives I use, I like a Shimano knife. A lot of people don't use them, but they're pretty nice. And of course the standard Rapala knives. I've been using Rapala knives for many, many years. They're very nice. And I just use this little generic sharpener here, the ceramic sharpener, to touch my blades up. What I do is I get the bluegills out. I'll dry them off actually, so I can handle them a little bit better. And I usually wear a glove here. You see I have a glove on. That helps keep my left hand a little bit warmer. And then when I'm done with the fillets, I'll just put them right here in the bowl. And we'll keep them nice and cold, although it's about 45 degrees outside here, so we shouldn't have a problem. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started. Hope you learn a thing or two, and maybe I'll learn a thing or two. Alright, what I'm doing, I'm just taking these bluegills and I'm patting them dry. So they're a little bit easier to handle. They're not quite as slimy. They're not quite as difficult to deal with. As you can see, these fish have been dead a while. They've actually been on ice a little while. And I like my fish to be dead, of course, and I like for them to have been on ice. Because to me, at least, it seems like the flesh separates a little easier than it does when they're very, very fresh and maybe not been on ice. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and see what we can do here. I'm going to start off with the Rapala knife, and I'm going to get this nice bluegill here. What I like to do is I like to make a cut as tight to the right behind the head as you possibly can to get all that good meat up in here. And this is how I do that. Okay, make a cut there, and then I just run the fillet knife in and lift it up. There's one cut on that side. And what I do is I get on this side of the backbone, and I'm only using about, I don't know, 3/8 of an inch of this knife. I'm going right down the backbone, and then I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to slice one time like that. And I'm going to lift it up with my thumb, and I'm going to poke through here. I can feel the edge of the backbone after I got past the rib cage there. Okay? Now here's what we're doing. We're going to take and separate that meat right there. Now right here's our rib cage, okay? There's our rib cage. You got some little pin bones in here. When this bluegill is cold like this, you can actually pull that and then cut to get a lot of them out. And then we just slice right down the edge of the rib cage, okay? You'll notice I stopped right at the very tail here. I stopped right at the very tail. Excuse me, there we got a little bit of bluegill poop. Get rid of that. Okay, now I'm going to skin the fillet, okay? But before I skin the fillet, I'm going to make a slice right down here and a slice right to the opposite side of it, because any remaining pin bones are going to be right there. Okay, I sliced that, and I'll show you what happens when I skin this fish. Get going back and forth. And a nice flexible knife is always better than one that's a little stiff. Okay, now let's show you what happened. That little wedge I cut out of there, that's got pin bones in it, right there. That's got pin bones. All right, we'll throw that in the trash, not going to use it. And then here's the fillet. Here's the fillet. It might have a little bit of real thin belly meat that you might not want to deal with, but here's the rest of the fillet. Nice fillet. Looks good. We're going to put that over here in the ice, and we're going to do the same on the other side. Okay? Again, I'm going to try to get close to the top here, get as much of that good meat right behind the head as I can get. Okay? There it is. And I'm going to make a slice right down behind the pectoral and right behind the pelvic fin. Then we're going to flip her over, find that backbone again. And sometimes you have to fool around with it a little bit. Now there it is, and I'm on this side of it. Okay. Now there's a little cut. Now I'm touching the rib cage, the top of the rib cage. That's what that did right there. Okay. Now here's the end of the rib cage, and I'm going to come through right by the bottom dorsal fin with the fillet knife. Okay, and I'll keep the fillet knife kind of flat and stop right at the tail. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing we did on the other side, and you can see as I pull this meat away, it will expose those pin bones, which are right here. Pin bones are right there. I'm going to try to cut around them. Okay, and then once we cut around them, we're going to go ahead and go right down the edge of the rib cage and make a cut right there. Now we're going to flip the fillet over, and we're going to do the same thing. Okay, we're going to skin this fish, and if you can probably see, I missed all those pin bones because I was able to cut around them that time. Okay, and here we go to do the skinning process. Okay, and then there's the fillet. There's the fillet, just like that. Another nice bluegill fillet. And of course, what we're doing is we're putting it in a bowl with some ice. It's nice and cold out here, but I like to keep them moist. And this is kind of what your bluegill should look like when you're done. There it is. A lot of meat off of it. You know, we're way high on the head here, as you can see. We got all that meat there. We got all the meat up there, or as much as I can get. And I know you can't read a newspaper through it, but that's actually a fairly good job. Now, I took my time on that fish to show everybody what it looked like. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean my surface a little bit again. Okay. Pat this bluegill down, get him kind of dry. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to try to do the same thing. By the way, I have a bucket right here to throw all the excess entrails and everything. Alright, here we go. Let's do this again. There we go, right behind there. Go down behind the pectoral, and let's get started again. Right behind the head. And try to make sure, there we go. Right on this side of the backbone. Go down the back that far, and then we can come through and stop at the tail. Okay? Now I'm going to lift this up, and I'm going to make a slice, make another slice. I'm just slicing and lifting. As I slice, I'm lifting with my left thumb. Okay? Now, I'm going to hold the knife here and pull. And I'm not, for some reason, I'm not getting all those pin bones, but I'm getting a lot of them. Okay? There we go. And I'm just going to come down here and flip that out like that. Get the doo-doo out. Alright. Now, I'm going to make that slice again, right here, and just below it. A little V-wedge, right at the base of where that rib cage was, right on the top of it, actually. Alright, now here we go again. Nice flexible blade. Good sharp knife. And by the way, if you have a knife you prefer, that's fine. Now see how this fillet came out? Looky here. See this little wedge? That little wedge comes right on out. and that's where the pin bones are. And that right there is your fillet. Okay? That's your fillet. Put them on the water there. Alright, now let's do the other side. Flip it out. Do the same thing. Get started. Cut right back down behind the pectoral and the pelvic fin. And come up high and get your blade started on this side of the backbone. Okay? And I'm only using about, like I say, 3/8 of that blade. And I'm going slow. Okay? I've only got a few fish to clean, so I'm not in a big hurry. I don't like being in a hurry. Okay. Alright, now we're going to run it right on through. You can see where it went right through the belly here, down by the bottom dorsal. And I'm flat to the backbone there. I'm just sawing back here. And again, I'm stopping right at the tail. Stopping right at the tail. Here we go. Lift and slice. This is the top of the rib cage. And I'm lifting and slicing. Now watch, I'm going to pull this. Alright, now I pulled some of those pin bones with me. So I'll have to cut that wedge in there again. Actually, it's not a bad idea to always cut the wedge. Slice down the bottom there. Flip it over. And right here is where that little bit of pin bones could possibly still be. I'll make that little wedge cut there. And by the way, that's not my gig. That's a guy by the name of Bill Modica. He did that, and he's got that on his YouTube channel, and he's very, very proficient and good at filleting bluegills and panfish of all kinds. Okay, there's the fillet. There's that little wedge. Throw that away. I could feel the bones in it. Then here's the fillet. Okay, nice fillet. We'll wash it out. Actually, I'm going to let mine purge overnight in nice water, not salt water, but just fresh water. And this is how that bluegill should look after you're done. You've got just about all the meat you can get out of the top here, and then you've got it like that. You can kind of see that translucence through there, and throw it away, or put it in the garden, or feed it to the cat, or whatever you want to do. Throw it away. It's up to you. Anyhow, that's how I fillet bluegills. I'm not in a great big hurry. I only fillet 8 or 10 at a time, so I don't have to feed 100 people. So, if you think this is a good way you'd like to try it sometime, go ahead. I put my bluegills in a nice bowl here with some ice cubes in it. Keep these fillets cold, and then when I'm done, I'll put them in the refrigerator in some ice cold water, and in a few hours I'll take and I'll bag them up in a vacuum sealed bag. And that's the way I do it. Other people do differently. You know, I've only put 6 or 8 fillets in there. My wife and I, Linda, we only eat a small amount of fish at a setting, so it's a good way to do it. You know, if I was filleting for a whole bunch of people, of course, I'd have other people helping me. But we've only got a few fish to clean, and so that's how I do it. I hope you got a couple tips from it, and hey, good luck, man. It's January and we're catching fish, so we're happy. Anyway, we'll talk to you later, and you all be blessed, okay? Be blessed.